Michigan runs the ball 32 straight times. They attempt one pass in the second half. That doesn't count because it was a pass interference call to A.J. Barner. And they absolutely squeezed the life out of Penn State. I had mixed emotions. Like watching it live, I was kind of like pulling my hair out. And now as time has sort of passed and settled a little bit, I'm like, oh, I kind of love actually what Michigan just did. And I'll speak to that a little bit more. But Brant, I want to kick that over to you. Your thoughts on that Penn State win in Happy Valley?
It's funny, Dave. I'm the exact opposite of you. I was very calm during that game because I felt like Sherrone was keeping the car between the lines, so to speak. Like he wasn't going to do anything to jeopardize this game, and I felt like if we just forced Penn State to go the length of the field, if we made Drew Aller make passes, I felt very comfortable where we were at. So Penn State was doing something very stupid in the third and fourth quarters, running the football every single time. What was the tendency? It was like 90% run on first down, 80% run on second down, and then on third down they would throw the ball. So I felt very comfortable in the fact that we were running the ball so much. Penn State was playing right into our hands. You're wasting the clock just as much as we are. You're letting this game just slip away from you. And we were completely okay with that as Michigan fans, I would think. So, Dave, it was a run out the clock situation there in the second half. It was, hey, JJ, don't put the ball in the air because these edges are coming off, these edges are coming right down the pipe and they are going to crush you. And you saw it on the first couple of drives, and then we didn't see it again because we didn't allow him to do it again. Sherrone Moore had a great game plan. And I'm not going to I do want to touch quickly on the Sherrone Moore post-game thing. People were comparing it to Ryan Day, saying the same thing. Well, Ryan Day had to go tell people he's not soft. And when you do that, that typically means that you're soft. It's like when you tell people you're really strong and then you bench 200 pounds and you're like, see, I told you, I'm really, really strong. Cool, bro. For Sherrone Moore, this would be the equivalent of, to me, Dave, having the biggest job interview of your life. The company is depending on you type situation. And if you blow it, everybody's going to look at you and be like, man, this is kind of your fault that the company just fell apart. And your future doesn't look bright here. I mean, that is so much pressure to have on you that you might just bust out and cry too, that you just saved everyone's jobs. Like your boss now can like pat you on the back and be like, great job. So I think there was just so much pressure in that moment that he let loose. Back to the football though. So I think the second half was just indicative of, hey, let's just run this clock as fast as we can and get on the bus and get out of town or get on the plane and get back home because Drew Aller and that offense is not going to beat us. And so they played it perfectly, Dave. I don't know what you thought about it, but so real quick before I let you go. So I said I was the opposite of you. That now I'm kind of pulling my hair out, Dave, because I feel like we left a lot of meat on the bone still. Like the more I think about it and the more I kind of analyze it, I feel like we should have been able to do some different things, whether it be quicker routes or set JJ back there on a 3, 4, 5-step drop and let him sling it. I don't know, Dave. I feel like there was probably some more there.
Well, I'll be honest. I was getting super upset because I'm like, play action, please. Like, it's got to work at this point. And I saw Carson Barnhart get burnt by Chop, just like you did, just like everybody did early on in that game, where it was like, okay, this isn't working. And I do want to come back to that at some point because I think that's something worth talking about is pass protection, especially Carson Barnhart in particular. I'm not trying to kill the kid right now, but it was not good, and it was not looking good early on at all. And JJ made some plays with his legs and all of that. But I mean, man, he threw it 8 times. But in that moment, Brent, like watching the game, I'm like, please just throw the ball. Like it's going to be there if you play action. But Michigan they didn't need to. They literally, I know I joke and play, I saw the sign. But Brant, look, they literally marched their offense out onto the field and said, Penn State, we're going to run the football. We're going to put 7 people, 8 people here on the line, and we're going to dare you to stop us. And we're going to do it 32 times in a row. And that's exactly what they did. And the more I think about it, I'm like, wow, You talk about the ultimate, just like dominant performance. No, was it some crazy air raid offense? Did they absolutely blow out Penn State? No, the scoreboard doesn't show it. But Brant, you want to talk about a dominating win? They literally said, here's our play. We're inviting you to stop us. And they went and won the game in Happy Valley at noon. Top 10 win. It was huge. It was absolutely huge. And I know James Franklin doesn't have any hair to pull out, but if he did, he better be pulling that hair out because he James Franklin again. And, he talked about how good this Penn State defense was. He's called them the best defense in the country. And Brant, I'll be honest, watching that game, he's not that far off. That Penn State defense is really, really good. I think that says a lot about this offense. And the one question that I've had, and we even talked about, I think on the last episode, is I'm concerned about the run game. Like, why is this not can't get going yet? And we're 9 games in at that point. And what did Michigan do? They went back to what's got them here over these last 2.5 years, and that's running the football. And so, yeah, am I concerned a little bit about the pass protection? I am. I also know that this is a very, very good Penn State defense with a first-round draft pick. A couple of guys actually on that D-line that are really, really good. If there's one thing that I've learned from this offense this year, they can throw the football. Because, Brant, that's really what's been their bread and butter all year. So now that they're back to running the football well, and Donovan Edwards kind of had a couple of his moments, and Blake Corum is out there with the split forehead, blood dripping down his face in a post-game interview, like, okay, Michigan's arrived. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, Dave, I took a little bit of solace in the middle of the second quarter, end of the second quarter. You start going for it on 4th down in your own territory or at the 50-yard line when the score is only 14-3. You kind of feel like they're already grasping for straws. They're fighting for their life already. And I mean, I will give James Franklin this, and a lot of people crap on him. He did play to win. He was playing for keeps, and I got to respect that. Calling a Philly special on a 4th and 4, I mean, that takes guts. And to his credit, he got it, and Drew Aller led him down the field, and with the QB scramble, I mean, that team did not quit. So for people saying, well, Penn State's not really that good, shut up. Shut up, because that's a bad take. Like, Penn State is a good football team. They are a quarterback away. There's no doubt about that. But if you let Drew Aller, you give him the time, he can probably cook you. Like, I have seen him play okay enough. But, Dave, I've been on Drew Aller all year. If you get to him, he will not beat you. I feel the same way about Kyle McCord. Kyle McCord is a good quarterback. He can make throws, but you cannot give him time. If he gets time, he's got one of the best weapons in the nation. He will beat you. Like, it's nothing special about these guys, but they will get you if you allow them. There's a lot of Cade McNamara vibes flying around the Big Ten right now, and JJ is just a notch above. And I think you saw that, Dave, with the run game ability from JJ. And that's what people, they're kind of underplaying what JJ did with his legs. It's 3rd and 10. They need to put a drive together, and they call QB power. Now, that's something I haven't seen from Michigan. I don't know if ever. That's not something Denard Robinson days, but that's not something that's in the Jim Harbaugh playbook. That's an Urban Meyer playbook, like, situation there, Dave. And so they call it. It's ran beautifully, and JJ's out there, and there's a big first down. So this offense is mixing it up, and JJ's legs, I mean, he played it perfectly on Saturday.
Brant, speaking of JJ real quick, what other quarterback is competing for the Heisman? And you can argue JJ's probably not anymore at this point, but he's been in the Heisman conversation. Whether you agree or disagree, he has been. Go in and play your biggest game of the year, and they let you throw the ball 8 times. Super conservative game plan. Run it 32 times in a row. I can't say that enough. And who is sprinting and celebrating with fans and teammates after that game, like screaming, fired up. I don't even know if I've seen JJ that fired up. That's JJ and McCarthy in a nutshell right there. That's true leadership. So what's this? I know it's a Michigan cliche, but that no one man is bigger than the team. I just feel like there's the face of the team and he embodies it. I just thought that was awesome. I haven't heard anybody talk about that, but I noticed it and I'm like, man, that was pretty cool. It's not about JJ and he knows that. Brant, go ahead. You have something to add there?
Yeah, I did see that the Iowa fans were thinking that this offense was revolutionary. I did see that. They thought
exactly.
eight passes. My goodness, you guys are really airing it out.
You guys are. This is an air raid offense. Yeah. Brant, I guess my question to you to wrap up this Michigan segment, and we don't have to talk a ton about Maryland. Not that I want to gloss over them, but we can talk about them a little bit more in the betting segment when we give our takes on that. This Michigan team, is there anything that gives you pause for concern right now in terms of being? Let's just stick with the Big Ten and winning this thing and beating Ohio State. After watching this game, I mean, we've heard about the schedule all year long. They go in, they get it done in a dominant fashion. Might not be how some people wanted to see it. It was dominant, though. Wasn't a perfect game by any means. Anything that's giving you cause for concern, or do you feel like this team is it right now? Like they just need to keep doing what they're doing and stay healthy, and they're going to go in and into Ann Arbor here in 2 weeks and dominate Ohio State or beat Ohio State?
Yeah, Dave, I do have some concerns defensively. Getting off the field on certain plays. We talked about it with Penn State. They convert 2 4th downs and they're moving the ball and they're scoring. That does concern me. We went zero coverage basically, man across the board on the 4th and I can't remember what it was, maybe 5. They run a out route and they're able to hit him. We're not able to get to the quarterback in time. And, it's just an out route and it beats us. So it's just, Dave, there are timely plays for this defense. And I would like to see them get off the field at a little bit of a higher rate. And I mean, we're being picky here. I understand that the secondary left a little bit to be desired. I thought Will Johnson had a much better second half than he did the first half. He got called for a couple PIs. They were kind of picking on Will. I was a little bit surprised that they were going after him. The fade to the corner of the end zone, he actually just drops that ball. Will kind of got beat on that corner fade. And if you don't think that Marvin Harrison is going to run a couple of those, you're sadly mistaken. I'm pretty sure we're going to get Will Johnson following around Marvin Harrison wherever he goes. So I am a little bit worried about Will Johnson right now against the matchup with Marvin Harrison. But again, we're being a little bit nitpicky. I don't think overall I am concerned about too much right now.
Fair enough. My only thing that I'm concerned about, and you're right, we are nitpicking, but I think it's been kind of a concern all year long is the offensive line. It's a good offensive line. It's not a great offensive line, and they were supposed to be great. We know that they won the Joe Moore Award the last 2 years. They're definitely not going to win it this year. But the O-line is just, they're good. They're good enough. They are good enough. I do believe that. But protecting JJ is going to be huge. And although they ran the ball all over Penn State, Brant, they're tossing 7, 8 guys up there. I mean, that's cool. It was great, but man, I'm really wondering this starting 5 that they're tossing out there, and I'm wondering if they make any changes here. If this is it, and if this is it, man, they've got to improve here in this game against Maryland in this upcoming weekend to get ready for Ohio State.